Hi, my name is Josh Wheeler and I'm currently an assistant professor of secondary education at Lubbock Christian University. Before this, I taught for a few years in the elementary level, specifically 5th grade science, and then the majority of my career I spent teaching middle school grades, 8th grade specifically. What I'd like to talk to you about today is a really useful tool that all teachers can use. I use this as the very first thing I teach to my students. It's an attention getter. Now sometimes attention getters can kind of get a bad rap, and especially in the older grades, students will hear that or teachers will hear that and say, oh, that's not going to work for my students. I want to challenge that idea. I use this with 8th graders and it worked all the time. I even used it in faculty meetings and it worked all the time. My class, a lot of times we had hands-on activity-based things where students would be at different stations, would need transition, different things like that. But sometimes I found that I needed to stop them mid-flow and give more instruction, or I needed to get their attention so that they could clean up because it was time to end the class or something like that. And rather than do what I've seen a lot of teachers do of try and scream over the whole class or just tell them, okay, I'm going to wait till you're quiet. I'll be waiting there forever. We all know that. Or flick the lights on and off. One of the things that I always did was I taught my students an attention getter. Now typically I would use whatever one they already knew. And for my students it was a clapping cadence that they learned in elementary and it was really easy for them to pick up and use in the middle school. But some way where I didn't have to scream over 30 kids in a classroom that were working actively engaged in some activity, but that I could get their attention. They all knew what it meant. They'd get quiet, their eyes would be on me, and I could give whatever instruction I needed to give. So first day, every year, I'd welcome the kids, get them going on some activity, but before we did that, we'd teach the attention getter, and we'd practice it over and over, and I'd tell them, okay, talk. And then I'd say, do the attention getter, and we'd practice what it would look like when they did it, what my expectations were. And within 3 minutes, they were trained, they knew exactly what to do so that I could use that throughout the year. And I used it almost on a daily basis to get their attention. And it helped me, helped save my voice. It was an effective classroom management tool. So I'd encourage each of you to do that. One of the first things you teach your students is an attention getter, some way that when they're in an active, hands-on environment where things could get a little bit loud, a way that you, the teacher, can get the attention of the whole class to give further instructions.